Hey Leif, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft for SE2. I think that there's some good things in this draft. I remember this section from your week 5 writing assignment, and I liked this description. Um, I think that I think that one of the things that's really missing from this paper is a clear thesis statement. So while there is some good writing in these individual paragraphs, the purpose of this paper is not entirely clear to the reader, meaning that I would not necessarily recognize this as a visual analysis paper. Nothing really indicates that you are analyzing an image. You put the idea that is the message of this picture at the very end of this sentence, but I wouldn't call this a thesis statement yet. Um, so yeah, in that image, it's clear that it's making some commentary on doers, talkers, and critics. And I think I align with you in that the image is trying to persuade the viewer to value doers more than critics or talkers, to perhaps see themselves as doers rather than talkers or critics, or that we should value doers over talkers and critics. Um, but I don't quite see a thesis here yet. So I'm going back to your introduction here, and I like this quote that you begin, but this quote that you begin with, but it feels like it's floating in space, meaning that it does not yet connect to this really broad idea, which is the world is full of information, news, and media. There's an endless supply of opinions, comments, questions, and concerns. Um, I don't yet see how these two ideas connect. So starting off, if you could more clearly connect these two ideas so there isn't like this logical or like this logic gap there, I think that would help. Um, Again, I think that this sentence has promise, but you need to more clearly introduce the idea that you're responding to an image. So the fact that you put this at the end of this sentence and the way that you positioned it in the sentence makes it sound like a subordinate clause, when what you really want to do is let the reader know that you're responding to visual analysis. And the next thing that you need to do is talk about what visual elements you're using to unpack the image. So I think that you have some good description in here, um, but a lot of this feels like inference rather than you responding directly to what's in the image, meaning that I'm really surprised how bland this picture is in terms of color, in terms of identifying individuals, right? Even in terms of design, based on what you've said here. I wish that there was more specific description of what is actually in the image, right? Connected to visual techniques. You're primarily focused on inferences, right? Rather than analyzing the visual techniques. And I think that that's one of the pieces of disconnect for the reader. And that's why I think your thesis statement is going to be so important here, because your thesis statement really needs to identify the visual elements that you're using to analyze the image. And that's what I don't see. What I see is a lot of inference and some good writing, like some interesting writing, but I wouldn't really call it like typical descriptive writing that we would need to really capture the image. So a lot of this, if you see here, if your safe assign a report, a lot of this, a good portion of this is just you putting your week 5 writing together with an introductory paragraph here and a concluding paragraph here. And I think that's why it's not working yet. Because you need a clear thesis statement, and these body paragraphs need to be guided by the analysis in the thesis statement, and it's just not there yet. I think it could be, though. So I think a way to rework this essay is to identify a clear thesis statement outside of the essay, meaning write a clear thesis statement outside of the essay, and then rethink your key ideas, and then think about what writing you have that could work with those key ideas, and what you perhaps need to leave out. And therefore, I can't really tell you what that's going to be yet, because I don't see a clear thesis statement. But if the thesis gets there, identifying your visual elements, I think that you can get there. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.